Welcome to episode 418 of the Geeks for the Win podcast, the tech and gaming podcast from the GeeksFTW.com, where we cover all things geeky. I'm your host, William McDonald, and I'm joined with my co-host, Stewart.
Known across the internet as Casual Terror.
And this week we're doing movie TV.
Yee.
What we've been watching.
Yeah.
And we've been watching a lot between the two of us.
I think
I've been watching a lot.
You've been watching a lot more than I have.
Between the two of us. Yeah.
Because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things.
I have 9, but like 3 of them we can group up into kind of like one discussion. So,
all right, cool. Let's start with one that I can kind of get out of the way quickly. I watched a documentary on Netflix. I don't know why I watched this documentary. It just kind of came across and went, I could kill an hour and a half. Operation Varsity Blues. About that college admission scandal that happened. Was it 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
The one where the aunt from
yep, that one.
Full House. Yeah.
It's really about the guy who basically did all of it. That whole like if you pay me a bunch of money, I can guarantee your kid admission into this college. Using sports. We're gonna fake sports. That they're on the sports on the sailing team, on the water polo team. But it was really kind of all about the guy who did that, and like all of the CEOs and just wealthy people who paid millions for their kids to go to these Ivy League schools. And it was interesting. That's all I gotta say. From what I could tell, the dude who did it, and I completely forget his name, I don't think he really kind of feels that he really did anything wrong. He just
of course not.
And the fact that he still has not gone to prison for it yet, even though other people have.
Oh yeah, what's her name from Full House? I think she went to jail or prison or whatever.
Yeah, for a couple months.
Rich people, the rich people version though.
So. Right, which is like a resort. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. What's the one Martha Stewart went to? They called Camp Cupcake. That always gets me. Like,
sure. But yeah, it's an interesting documentary. It makes you feel sorry for like the kids who could have gone in like the places of these rich kids, but didn't because the rich kids paid more. And honestly, gotcha. Like so many of like the reenactments are like, but what if the kid finds out? Like, what if they're going to start asking questions? Don't worry about it. I've seen their actual test scores. They won't figure it out. Oh shit! Like,
damn. Okay. And it's crazy because these are all like the kids of rich people. So
Yes.
you'd think they'd have like tutors and they'd be
Well,
like,
that's what
they would have started
this
early
guy
on
was.
educating them.
That's what this guy was. He was a college prep tutor. And for some people, that's what he actually did. But for the ones who couldn't, and for the richest of people, he offered this option to the parents, like, hey, yeah, you could try to take the tests and get in, or you can try to donate a lot of money to get into this school. But I've got this side door. That's what he called it. He called it as a side door. Where you don't have to pay as much as getting in the back door, which is just donating to the school directly. So
yeah, I guess that clears the little things up for me because I was always like, what's the big deal? Rich people like, donate to schools all the time to get their kids in.
Yeah, like
why is in
hundreds or tens of millions of dollars to donate to get in the back door, but for him it was like 3 or 4 million. Like, oh, that's much better. Like, yeah, fuck you.
I guess also the difference is it's not going to the school where technically, the resources would benefit the students.
Some of it was
in theory.
Like that was kind of the whole thing was like, they paid him the money and then he paid off the coaches, the sports administration, to allow this to happen.
Okay.
And there was one guy, I feel like that there was one coach who was for, I forget which school it was, but he was a sailing coach. He legitimately had no idea what was happening. Like even though like it was like he had no idea what was happening. But he got kind of roped into this. Like, oh no, yeah, I know this guy. Yeah, he's a good guy. Okay, if you say so. Yeah, he's gonna send some students your way, and yeah, you just send me your report on him. And then he got in trouble for this, even though like the money, like the donations he was given for this, he used directly for that sailing program. None of it went in his pocket.
Huh.
Which is, better than what anybody else did.
Like, did they prepare? Was this like years in advance, or was this like?
Oh no,
their senior year of high school. They would work on getting the kid, doing this plan because it's real fishy if like all of a sudden their last year they have no record of doing this one sport or whatever, and then all of a sudden they get.
Oh no, it was
they get in.
It was extracurricular activities. No, some of it's like whenever you start, prepping for college, like junior year, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when
gotcha, okay.
taking the SATs, like they had like a guy who took the SATs for them.
Oh, wow.
Because you can, if you have a learning disability, you can take a test by yourself. And it was overlooked by the guy who was taking the damn test for them.
Oh wow!
And could get
like there's so many
and could get a perfect
of
score on
corruption.
There were definitely some layers of like, yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's on Netflix.
Crazy they got a documentary up this quick.
Yeah.
And again, I guess that was a few years ago, right? Like,
yeah. When was?
It doesn't feel like it was that long ago. I guess just because time feels weird.
Yeah, 2019 is when this all went down. Yeah.
Okay, and I am shocked. Yeah, they got something this.
Well,
quick
then, and
done.
there was a lot of like reenactments, but it was like one dude on screen. Like you could tell like the camera was like way back here. I'm like, okay, yeah, COVID.
Yep.
So if you're interested in like how that really all happened, it's an interesting documentary.
Okay, I'll have to like a good documentary,
Yeah,
depending on the subject that is. Yeah.
absolutely. What have you been watching?
Let's see. Okay, anime. Let's look at my list. Let's go with. I finally finished Plunderer. This was one where for some reason I was watching it like week to week, and then I just kind of stopped. And I was like, I'm gonna build up some episodes, and then I never got back.
And then never went back to it. Huh? I've got one of those.
Yeah. So I finally finished through that, and boy, that's a weird anime.
It really is.
It changes like it's crazy how like you think it's one thing and then it switches to something else, and then something else happens and you're just like, oh, like there's a lot of like twists throughout this anime to where it's just like, oh, okay, huh, that's very different than what I thought this anime was originally.
And then you find out like, oh, she's the daughter of, oh, that's weird.
Yeah, right. Like it's
that relationship got really weird then. Yeah,
it got very weird. It's, man, and I gotta say, it's still it irritated me that one chick just kept calling him pudding throughout the very end.
I mean, like, it was a very memorable costume. Was him dressed as Flan.
Was true, but like even after like getting to know him as younger and his origin story and all this and that, like they're still pudding. Yeah, it just, I don't know, it just felt kind of weird, but it was good. I enjoyed it. Is there going to be a second season? I think I saw something on that.
Maybe. Don't think it's straight up confirmed. Like what anime? What anime ends? What anime ends? Like answer that question.
Yes, true.
What anime ends?
Yeah,
none. No anime ever ends.
That's true, but yeah, like there's just so many things where it's like, oh, okay, 2 episodes later, this changes everything, like that I thought this anime was, and you don't really, at least I don't really watch many animes that do that, to where it's like where you look back at the start of it and you're like, oh, I never would have guessed this would ever reach this point. Like
Gurren Lagann, that one just kept getting bigger and bigger. I take it by your face, you'd never watched Gurren Lagann.
No, but I know of it. Yeah. But yeah, I just like, I don't know, the just the reveals of like, oh, they go back and
I'll say this, by the end of that fucking anime, the fight scenes were them hurling universes at each other, like taking like the Milky Way and like smacking each other with the Milky Way. Like, hold on.
Wow. Okay.
Like that one, like, yeah, that one just kept getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah. I just mean like the first big reveal was when they time traveled, time traveled to the past, and it was like society we knew it.
Yes.
As we know it. And, then you start to see things unfold and you start to see, you know, the world is terrible, resources are low, all this and that, and then the whole like, you know, oh, the one dude in charge, he's actually kind of nice, and then it's like, oh wait, no, he actually isn't nice. Okay, that was all a front, huh?
Yeah.
Was it? I don't know. Like it just and that's just one of the big examples. And then you, like you were saying, the whole finding out who her father was, and then just like so many different things happen in this anime. Like it's nutty, and they did have a lot to work with. It was a 26 episode or 24 or
Was
it
it
was
that?
in the 20s.
Was it that many?
I think it was. Because I had left off on like 16 or 17, I think. Somewhere in the middle.
24.
24, yeah. So yeah, they did have a lot to work with, but like it still was just like so many things happened. Like it was like the reverse of Dragon Ball Z, you know, where
Yes.
you know they take a few episodes to get through like, you know, powering up as the joke goes. But this one, like, you know, one episode goes through so many different things. So much story progression, but
Funny you say that. I'm just because I heard there's a popular anime series that kind of either just wrapped up or it's still going. Promise Neverland.
oh, that's on my list to watch.
I keep seeing like a lot of things like, you know, Promise Neverland this, you know, it's really good, really good. Well, apparently in 6 episodes, it went through 140 chapters of the source material in 6 episodes.
Crap. Okay. Wow.
Where, like, you know, usually an anime season will go maybe 2 or 3 chapters into a source material. Nah, in 6 episodes, it went 140.
Wow. That is crazy.
So I'm assuming like things fucking went. Like I'm assuming things just happened super quick.
Yeah, that's definitely on my list to watch because, you know, I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah.
And I think the second season of that wrapped up.
Was it the second season? Because I feel like it might have been the first.
Or maybe it was the second part of the first season. I don't know.
Nope, it was the second season.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Then season 2 came out quick then.
Yeah, there's a lot of animes where that's happening. Like, I think there's some season 2s coming out this year of animes that just wrapped up not too long ago.
Yeah.
That I'm like, oh wow, okay, that's quick, you know. Whereas you have The Devil is a Part-Timer. There's like 10 years between. There's been 10 years since the first season, and then
yeah,
like we just have the announcement of season 2.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, so Plunder, it's really good. I like the voice. The voice cast is great. I see. For the most part, I think the dubs for anime is pretty good now. Like we're at a part where
although there is one criticism that people have with dubs that I kind of get, and it can be fixed. It can be fixed, and that is, I keep hearing the same voices for every anime. You're right. Anime voice casting needs to increase.
That's true, but like
that cast pool needs to get bigger.
Like is that the same in like Japan?
No.
But like
no.
You're not?
No.
Because I mean, like me, I can't tell the difference between voices because I don't understand the language, you know, so I can't really pick up on stuff, you know.
No, because
But
like animation voice acting is such a bigger industry over there than it is here. Like there's, you know, there's more and actors that appear in movies and TV shows have no problem just lending their voices to some just anime, where here
yeah.
it's got to be, oh, you want to get, the Rock to do a voice acting, well, it's got to be Disney, it's got to be Disney, it's got to be a Disney movie, or like, something like that. Or like in Japan, nah, it's anybody who's an actor will do a voice role in anime.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it does. Like I do understand that. Like it's like, oh, that's the voice of Lucy from Fairy Tale,
Yeah.
Like, but soon after, like if the anime is good enough, you just
there's Chris Sabat again. I've heard his voice, about in like the 5th anime I watched today.
Yeah, he just has a good voice though.
He does have a good voice, but you do hear it a lot.
Yeah, but like I said, if the anime is good, I tend to like. It tends to not stick with me that, oh, that's the voice of Lucy from Fairy Tale, like, or oh, that's the voice from whatever, it's like the initial jerk reaction for like the first like 5 or 10 minutes of that anime. But if I really get into it, then I'm just like, okay, that's the different character. Okay, you start to, at least for me, I start to see that character as that character with that personality and traits, and I can actually, I'll cheat a little and I'll go on to another anime since I have more topics than you.
Sure.
Cells at Work.
Okay, cool.
The voice of Lucy from Fairy Tale.
I've not seen season 2.
Yeah, the voice of Lucy from Fairy Tale, as I was saying. She's the main red blood cell. This is an interesting anime. This is like Osmosis Jones meets anime.
I've talked about it before, but yes, it is Osmosis Jones, the anime.
Yeah, and
did you see there's a spinoff series though called Code Black?
I did, and I watched the first episode of that, but
much darker show.
Yeah, sticking with the. Is there a second season of the regular Cells at Work?
Airing now.
Oh,
or either that, or it's just now ending. I don't know how many episodes.
It's not dubbed. I know that. At least it's. I didn't see it dubbed. I like this anime. It was enjoyable.
It's good, and I've seen a reaction from doctors about this anime.
I watched a video
about how accurate it is, and it is very accurate.
Like I watched one where the guy was like, "Oh, I forgot that like he was remembering things he had learned in medical school that was being shown on there." That he was like, oh, I love that. It reminds me of this, because this is in my practice. I don't really keep up on this type of, whatever. And it was great. Like I had to look up a reaction,
Also, the viruses and bacteria are clearly based on Akira Toriyama off his work.
Oh yeah,
because I'm like,
exactly.
That's fucking Cell. What the like that is?
Yeah, that's Cell. That's the Cell Juniors. That's Frieza inspirations. Yeah, like totally.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah. I loved that. I'm like, it's Cell. Get it? It's a cell of a bacteria.
Yeah. It's great, yeah, I love this. Is it in? Yeah, okay, yeah, they're not dubbed, they're just subbed right now, season 2. Okay. It's great. You know, it follows what the red blood cell and the white blood cell are pretty much the red blood cell is pretty much the main character.
Yeah.
And she just like gets confused, and it does a great job. Like the narrating is really great because it explains things like, you know, like what's going on in the episode as far as the human body and how things react to each other and stuff like that. And it's clever and it's hilarious at the same time. Like the white blood cell, I love him. You know, die germ.
Yes.
And I think there was a point in one of the episodes where he comes across someone, like I think it was one of the platelets, the little kids, and they were just like, "Oh, will you say die germ for us?" Like they even make fun of that part where he's always like, I just it's so anime though. Like the way the white blood cells react to like the germs.
Yes.
You know, it's totally anime because they go crazy like whenever they see like germs or bacteria or whatever. But it was great. I enjoyed it. It was fun. Like like I said, at the beginning, I'm like, oh, that's the voice of Lucy from Fairy Tale. That's just straight up her voice, not like, oh, that's the same voice actress. You know, no, that's straight up the same voice. But like shortly after though, like I was saying, I started to see, oh, that's you start to see the traits of, oh, she's always getting lost, and you know, she's clumsy, and oh, that, you know, this, you start to see the character, and it's like, oh, okay, that's red blood cell, or that's the main red blood cell.
Yeah.
You know, I love the opening intro too. It's great.
Trying to think of what
the song,
what the opening intro is.
It's actually sung by the red and white blood cell, like, which I don't feel remember. Like that happens a lot. Like, you don't get like intro songs sung by the actual voice actors a lot.
You do in Japan, in Japanese.
Well, I mean, like English, you know, yeah. Because for the most part, you just get the Japanese version, you know,
right?
Even if it's English dubbed, which I'm not against, because anime intros are really cool. A lot of them are really great. Oh yeah, it's fun. This is a fun anime to watch. It's very weird and out there, and
yeah, I watched this one in Japanese because the dub wasn't even out yet at the time. But I do want to watch season 2, and I do want to watch Code Black, because from what I understand of Code Black is like, well, cells at work, that's the healthy body that they're working in. Code Black, that's a very unhealthy body they're working in.
Oh yeah,
that's like a smoker. And
that first episode, man, I was just like, I don't know if I want to watch this or not, because like the original is so happy and fun, and sure there are some dark moments, but it's, you know, like it's positive. But this is just like, oh my god, this is dark. Like, you know, and it's the same thing. It's like the red blood cell, you know, like that's her only job is to go to deliver oxygen and you know, drop off CO2, and like that's all she does. And but like in Code Black, it's like that's all I do. Like, you know, it's just the way it's presented,
right? And just, also they're gender reversed as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And yeah, so the white blood cell is female in Code Black, and the red blood cell is male, and yeah. It's crazy though. It's anime, as it's anime as most people would think anime is. You know, there's a lot of crazy tropes and you know, craziness. I love it though. Like I said, it was very lighthearted for the most part. It was just a fun thing to watch. Like, there would be dark moments, like I said, but for the most part, it was just a fun thing. And it's like, oh, I vaguely know about this, and like when they would talk about certain things in the human body and stuff like that, and there'd be parts and bits that I know. It's kind of the same thing of why like Dr. Stone is like, it's teaches you stuff. That's where that's actually how things work.
Yeah. For the most part.
And I just respect that, because imagine the writing that they had to like go what they had to do to get the writing to work that way. They had to put a lot of work into this to create something like this.
A doctor definitely
respect
wrote this. You can tell.
Oh yeah, yeah. But it makes sense though. Like it makes sense as an anime, which is impressive.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, it's Osmosis Jones. We've seen this work already.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. What else you got?
Well, an anime that I watched an episode of and then didn't watch anything else, or didn't watch it again until much later. Is didn't I say to make my abilities average in the next life? Which you watched this, one. Right?
Yeah, I watched all of it.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. For those of you who don't know, like it's about this. It's an isekai where the main character in her previous life was like top of the class,
a prodigy,
A student, always studying, but didn't have any friends, and basically just lived her life at home, just watching anime and reading manga. So when she died, when she was hit by the isekai truck, which that truck has a name, by the way. You don't know that truck.
Oh my god!
Truck
is there a name for that?
Well, it's the same damn truck in every anime that happens in. If you know, it's the same damn truck.
Is it really? Wow.
Yes. When she's hit by the truck, she's offered she wants her life she wants her abilities in the next life to be average. But in the world that she goes to, it's the average of that entire world. Meaning you got, the little buggies down here at the bottom, and then you've got this big ass elder dragon at the very top, who's the strongest of all things, and she's in the middle, which makes her still stronger than all humans.
Yeah, it's the average of the weakest creature with that giant elder dragon.
Yes.
Which is still like god tier pretty much.
Yes. Which, so that leaves her still way stronger than everybody. So yeah, and then she basically lives the life of Cinderella for a little bit. Like it was straight up Cinderella. Like she wore the exact clothing of Cinderella, and her stepmother and stepsister were straight up fucking from Cinderella. So she ran off and joined to be a hunter and made friends. So, and it's that anime. And it's good. I liked it. I want there to be a season 2. Because it left off like leading to like, okay, this could be cool. Because like a story is just now starting, and end of anime. Damn.
Yeah, this was one of the animes that got affected by COVID, at least as far as the dubbing goes. I'm not sure if like it was side by side release, how the release was, if it was.
Yeah. Yeah, because
the dubbing definitely, this one that got affected, and I think people were worried, like, is this going to actually finish the dub? Like, I think you had that fear for a few different animes.
Yeah, I did. Yes.
Which luckily, pretty much all the animes finished their dubs.
They did,
thankfully.
Yeah. But that dubs are still behind, I feel like.
Yeah. It's a fun anime. I enjoyed it. I thought it was humorous how she is always trying to, like, when she does stuff, everyone's so impressed, and she's trying to, like, oh, that's not average, and she's trying to be average, even, like, she's constantly just trying not to stand out.
But then again, you have to laugh when she goes, okay, sword chick, I'm going to train you to be better at the sword. Hold on. And then changes clothes into fucking Master Roshi. Which, nobody, of course, it's another world. Nobody gets the reference.
Yeah.
So it's funny. And like I said, it just started to get into an interesting story because there was a hint of, like, a very technologically advanced civilization that fell years ago. Like, that was okay. That sounds cool. And we're going to end the series here as they go off and looking for answers on it. Like, well, fuck.
Yeah, and I don't know. Hopefully it'll get a season 2.
This one definitely gave more of a, hey, we want you to buy the source material. This was an ad for the source material.
Ah, gotcha.
So, which I don't know if it was a manga or a light novel. I want to say a light novel. Yeah, light novel.
Okay.
So yeah, what have you been watching?
Isekai anime, of course, because that's every other anime tends to be isekai nowadays.
At least the ones I watch.
Yeah, this one, the main character had a connection with slime, but it's not the one you're thinking of.
No, it's not.
By the grace of the gods. It's an isekai where the main character is like a 30-year-old something, like businessman who, like,
it's not the one I'm thinking of, because I was kind of confused for a second, because there is an anime that's coming out. I started like this week in Japanese that has to deal with slime. So I was like, it's not that one. I know it's not.
Yeah, he dies because he, like, I think he falls asleep and hits his head and just dies. Even though he's been through, like, or no, he's asleep, and then he, like, rolls out of bed or something and hits his head and dies, and he's, like, so upset because, like, he been through so much, like, so much in his actual real world.
So one, he did not meet the isekai truck. Okay.
No. I mean, there are some animes like that, where,
I mean, like I said, that truck has a name now.
Yeah. Yeah. But there are some where, like, they just they go other ways besides the truck. But yeah, the truck is it happens a lot. It's always saving a kid from the truck.
It is.
Yeah. But he gets reincarnated in another world, of course, in a little kid's body, and he's given gifts by these, like, 3 gods that he talks to and has kind of a friendship with, and they kind of like him, so they send him, and he has like all these crazy abilities. They give him like, they kind of give him. They say like the phrase, jack of all trades, master of none. So he can kind of do like, he can do every type of magic, but he's not necessarily going to be the best at, any particular one. And this is one where like doing more than one type of magic is kind of rare in this world.
Okay.
Like you pretty much focus on one type of magic. It's one of those. So everyone's just astonished and amazed. He befriends slimes, and he becomes a slime like trainer or slime. I forget what it's called. Like, he like masters slimes and, experiments with slimes, and he's actually created different slimes of his own, like he created a healing slime where the slime will like use healing magic and help heal people's injuries. And then he created a cleaning slime.
Okay.
Where it will just like, it will clean, like, oh, you've got one of the big things in this world is like goblin grime or goblin dirt or whatever. I forget what it's actually called, but it's like the hardest thing to get out of. And a lot of people just end up buying new armor and stuff like that. But the slimes can just get that out, they just like eat it or whatever whatever the slimes do, they just do. And, he created that. And,
this may
he
just
has like,
what the slimes look like boobs.
Okay. Kind of like the
I mean,
slime balls, yeah.
Because like you got the slime, but then there's a little thing inside of it, so it all looks like boobs to me.
Yeah. He has thousands of slimes though.
Thousands of boobs.
All under his control, and he's able to do things like combine the different types into one, and then shrink them down, and then they can. Like it's weird, but it's also magic. So it's like, okay, like this doesn't make sense in our world, but it's magic. So sure. Okay. And he comes across like, he comes across like adventurers who are like in trouble. Like they got attacked or something and one person's injured and he helps them out. And, this is like the first time he's come across anyone. Like he was born, he was like, he wasn't necessarily like born. He was just like put in that world as like a 5-year-old or something, like 5-6-year-old, something like that.
Okay.
And then like 3 years has passed and like he hasn't come across anybody. And it's even a point where he's like, oh, I haven't talked to anybody. Oh, let me see. And he starts speaking like kind of like a caveman with simple words because he's not used to speaking to anybody.
Right.
And it turns out he like helped out like nobility of some sorts, and they in return help him out, and they like visit him, and he joins them, and it's just him living his life. He joins like a adventurers guild and then a merchants guild because the he joins what was the guild? It's like a I forget the term, but it's like when you like conquer animals or creatures to become your like familiars, or
okay.
I forget the term they use, but there's something to it. But and like since even though he's like he's tamer. There we go, tamer.
Okay.
I don't know why I couldn't think of that word, but yeah, the Tamers Guild, and he's not able to like rank up in the Tamers Guild much because they don't think slimes are worth anything, even though like he's conquered like thousands of slimes, and he's proven that these slimes can do crazy things, you know. And there's some explanation on like the creation of the slimes in that world later on by one of the gods he talks to before he, you know, like in their abilities and their traits and how they're able to have variations and stuff. There's some interesting explanations later on in the anime as far as that goes. And yeah, he just like he just starts, you know, doing adventures and helping people out with his slimes, and there's some interesting stuff. It's a good anime. I really liked it, and I hope there's a season 2 of it.
Okay. All right. My last anime that I watched. I'm standing on a million lives.
Oh, I'm halfway through this one.
Oh, cool. This one, it's not technically, I mean, it is an isekai, but it's not, because they go back. They go back and forth between the worlds.
It's kind of how like Digimon ended up going, where they were able to go to the digital world and then come back. And yeah.
This one, it's how do I explain this? A being who looks fucking freaky shows up because he's missing like from like his like the top of his nose up is gone, and he speaks weird. He has
and he's like naked too, right?
He's naked, and he has a very odd way of speaking. Like he doesn't like the last word of a sentence. He'll like halfway say it. Like, what is your quest? Instead of a question, what is your quest? Like, finish the word. Come on. Spin the wheel. Come on, wheel. Finish the word.
Oh, that must drive you insane.
It was a bit nuts.
He does it all the time.
He does in Japanese too. Like, stop it. But he appears to a person, and then they do the quest that he gives them. And the next time, the quest is to befriend somebody else, and then both of them show up and they do the quest. And then they have to do a thing with the third person to then go back to that world to do a quest. Then he does a thing with a fourth person to take them back. Then there's a fifth person, and it kind of seems to keep going from there. It's weird. And like time definitely passes in the other world, but it seems to pass a lot quicker when they're gone. Because like there's a village that they saved at the beginning of the anime. They go back to it some part way through, and like it's abandoned. And it's been abandoned for like years. Like, okay, so time has definitely passed. But time does not pass in the real world for them when they go back. And like the main character, well, for one, when he spins the job wheel, gets shitty jobs. But since he's an elite gamer, let's put it that way, he's able to kind of work out how to do things. And you cannot use weapons for another class. So like he cannot use like the warrior's sword. Like he'll just pass right through his hands. And let's see, what is he? He's a farmer at first. So he just has like a scythe and a hoe that literally just breaks instantly. but he does manage to kill goblins. And like the entire time he's thinking this is a digital world. So like
I think that's where I left off, where he realizes that the person he killed or whatever it is, he gets explained, like the god like being explains to him, what's really going on. That's where I kind of left off.
Yeah, and he has an issue with that. I
mean, yeah, I think it's a game, and your actions don't have real consequences.
Yeah.
And you realize,
and when they die in that world, like they respawn, but like they can't all die at the same time. Like one of them has to be up, and like 40 seconds have to pass.
Yeah.
And if their body is not in a dangerous situation where they immediately die again, then they can respawn. So it's interesting. And there is going to be a season 2. There is a season 2. It's announced at the very, very end of the anime that there's a season 2 coming.
Oh, that's cool.
In July.
Oh, yeah. See, another one that's coming out real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, this
because this just wrapped up not too long ago, right?
No, this was fall. Was
it?
This did not happen this season. This happened last season.
Yeah. That's still a crazy turnaround, though. That's what I'm saying.
Because the spring season is starting now, actually.
Yeah.
So this happened in the fall. But yeah, it is getting a season 2. So I'm looking forward to more of this. I did not explain it well, but it's good.
It's a weird one.
It's definitely weird.
Yeah. And I one of the reasons why I stopped halfway through was because I had the issues with the Verve app on Xbox. Because this is on Verve, not it's is it a Crunchyroll one or?
Well, Verve is Crunchyroll. Yes.
I mean, like on Verve, there's like High Dive and Crunchyroll.
It's Crunchyroll who did it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Is it an original or is it them just distributing it? Okay, no. Gotcha. Yeah, it's a good one. I like it. I liked it, and I'm gotta go back to it now that I'm able to watch.
Yeah, you're almost again. at the end. If you found out that world is technically real.
I think that was episode like 7 or 8. Let me look. Can I see how my continue watching?
Okay, yeah, that would have been episode 8.
Yeah.
Okay. 9 and 10, 9, 10, and 11. Kind of one thing happens, and it takes a while to get through the thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, what else have you been watching?
Another isekai. My Next Life as a Villainess.
I want to watch. I've been meaning to watch that one because that got a season 2. It was announced.
Yes, I believe so. Yes. This is an interesting one. This is one where I'm trying to think of. Yeah, the main character, she does die, like, of course. And I forget. I think she does die by like a truck or something. I don't think they like really focus too much on it. They do mention like, oh, she was on her way to school and died, and they reference that in the past, but she gets reincarnated. She starts to. It's a thing where like the character in the world she goes to remembers her life on Earth and all that when she's like a certain age, because the character has like what's the name, like I'm terrible with names in anime. I mean, especially if it's only like a one season anime,
right?
I don't really.
Is it Katrina?
Katarina, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. She like has like a fall and hits her head when she's like age like I don't know 5 or 6 or 7, something like that, real young, and that's when she like remembers who she is. Like she gets her memories of who she was beforehand and whatnot, and she slowly starts to realize, oh, this is just like this game that I played, where one of those games where you have to like you have to like seduce the
visual
main
novel
character, or visual novel type stuff. And she like one where she played a lot, and she like went through like multiple different endings and stuff like that, and she realizes, oh, I'm the villain of this game, and I know what happens where I get killed by the main character, or I get killed by the prince who falls in love with the main character on this one ending, or I get banished from the country or for the land or whatever, or like she just goes through all the different like bad things that happens to the villain of the story, and then she's like, okay, well, if that's the case, I need to learn I need to have backup plans. So I need to start learning how to farm. And she starts learning how to grow like crops and stuff like that. In case I do end up, being banished and having to live life outside, the kingdom or the land or whatever it's called. I need to learn, fighting skills, fighting with a sword. So she starts doing, it's like a totally different personality switch from what the character was before the fall, before she remembers who she actually, is. Because the character was like bratty, and, because, it was going to be, the character was going to be a villain before this.
Right.
Before this reincarnation. And it's weird because she ends up like accidentally seducing so many different characters.
Okay.
Not just the males, but the females too.
Okay.
And she's like, okay, this character is supposed to end up with this character. So, well, and then this character, and she just goes through because she played the game so many times, and there's this like brain trust scene where like it goes in her head, and there's like different versions of her talking like, oh, this is the doom route, we need to avoid this, we need to do this, or we need to do, like, where they have meetings inside her head of like what to do and stuff like that. That happens quite a bit. But yeah, she starts to slowly see, okay, this was supposed to happen in the game, but this doesn't happen anymore. And she starts to slowly see how she like is changing things in the world. But yet she still thinks that, throughout the whole thing, she still thinks, oh, that I'm still there's still the doom route. I can still, even though she sees the world is changing drastically from, how it should be, and how, the characters are starting to be different from her influence. She still feels like she's going to, end up going the doom route. And I don't want to say too much. I really haven't spoiled much.
Yeah.
Because you said you're interested.
Yeah, I am. And for some reason, like the source material, I was thinking there were two versions of this source material. One was where she recovers her memories as a little kid. And the second one is she recovers her memories right before she dies. Right before she dies as a villain. And I'm trying to find it, but I can't find the other one. I can't find the one because like in my head, that's what there's
this
two
the
of them.
Mandela effect?
I heard about this one a while back on a podcast, on an anime podcast. And I cannot find the other one.
Huh. Okay. Weird.
So I don't know if I dreamed it or why I dreamed of this anime. I don't know. But like I cannot find the other one.
Yeah. The first like batch of episodes are her as a kid, and then there is a time skip where she's like 15, like of age or whatever, and then it goes from there. But it's a good anime. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait for it's getting a season 2.
It is getting a season 2.
I'm excited because it really was good and enjoyable.
Okay, well, I've got no more anime that I've watched yet because, like I said, new seasons are starting now. So, and I've got some things that I'm waiting to watch.
Gotcha.
But what I have watched on HBO Max is something that I thought I watched, but apparently I didn't. Westworld season 2. Well, my mom started watching Westworld while I was over there visiting. I'm like, I want to watch Westworld again, because in my mind I'd watched season 1 and 2, but I hadn't watched season 3. So like, I'll watch it all again, and then watch season 3. And then when I started watching season 2, like, this is all new to me. I don't think I watched this at all. So I've been watching Westworld again. And I just finished season 2 last night. So I'm about to start season 3, which honestly, I feel like the show kind of ended at season 2. Like, okay.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, with how they ended season 2, I'm like, that was a good ending, and they could have just left it there. And shows that happen, then that's usually a bad sign. I'm like, there's so many shows like Dexter after season 4? Yeah, that ended there. Supernatural season 5, that show ended there. Instead of season 15 with like it did in real life.
Yeah.
But I
Heroes season 1 that ended there.
Yep.
Or it should have.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
people like season 3 though, right?
I don't know. I have not heard a damn thing about season 3.
At least I don't remember hearing anything negative anyways.
Well, I didn't hear anything negative or positive. So
that's got Aaron Paul in it, right?
That one's got Aaron Paul, and I'm curious on how he even plays into this.
Yeah.
And I looked on IMDb at the end of season 2. I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting because, that character's got 28 episodes to their name, but they died. Huh. Apparently the returning characters from season 2 all died in season 2. Huh. How the fuck do they come back? So, and God, Westworld, good damn show. It really is. You don't know what Westworld is. Westworld, it's in an alternate world. People created robots because like I looked up like when this all like so was supposed to take place. Like fucking this all supposed to happen like in today's time. I'm like, okay, so technology advanced differently in this world, where like they created robots that look human, that can act human. And what they did is they created these amusement parks that allowed people to basically play games and like basically like live in an MMO and like do like storylines and quests and all that kind of stuff.
LARPing.
They're LARPing, yes. And these robots are the NPCs and
high-tech LARPing.
You can shoot them, you can rape them, you can do whatever. Do whatever you want to. It's all good. And they can't kill you. That's the key. When they shoot you, just kind of like you were hit by an airsoft gun. But hey, it's robots, and then things go bad, and oh look, they can now kill people. So, and like the
really?
robots become aware, become self-aware, and they start to remember all the things that people have done to them in the past. And they're not happy about it. Because people have done some bad things to them. So, but it's that as a TV series, and it's really good. Really, really good.
It was a movie first, and then was it a book before then?
It was a book, yeah. I want to say it was a book, and then it was a movie in like the 70s.
70s, yeah.
Which I have watched that original movie. And it's not that good. I don't feel like that movie in the 70s was that good. Oh, it was a Michael Crichton book. Really? Yeah. He wrote two of them apparently. Oh no, written and directed. So I guess this was the original movie was directed by Michael Crichton. And there was a sequel that I didn't know about called Future World. Did not know that. Huh, interesting.
Yeah, I heard in the movies they showed off the different worlds besides the West.
Well, they do show a little bit off in season 2. Like you get the Raj, you get kind of a glimpse of the Raj, which is basically a world from British controlled India. So like 1940s.
Okay.
So like, hey, we're gonna ride back on these elephants and hunt Bengal tigers. That kind of a thing. And then there's Samurai World. That one's kind of featured kind of heavily in season 2. And in the movie, there was also Rome World or Roman World, as well as Medieval World.
And of course, medieval.
And from what I understand of season 3, Fantasy World appears kind of briefly. because I've seen the image, and because hey, HBO, guess what also is on HBO? Game of Thrones. So it shows them working on a giant dragon robot that is Drogo from Game of Thrones.
That's funny.
And apparently the people working on them are DB and Weiss. Like, yeah. Because, people are happy with them with Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially recently.
Yeah.
Was it the Iron Anniversary that they're voting?
I don't know.
Because it's been like 10 years since Game of Thrones, and people are like being reminded, yeah, that show ended poorly.
Has it been 10 years? No, I guess it has. That was 8 seasons, so yeah. Was it 8 seasons or 7? I don't remember now.
Yeah. As you get older, time just feels different.
Season 8. Yeah. Which came out in 2019. God, it feels like a lot longer than that.
Yeah, doesn't it?
But man. But Westworld is what I'm talking about. You haven't seen Westworld? You should.
Okay.
It's got some like Ed Harris is in it, and he's phenomenal. And
he's such a great actor.
I'm thinking dude who played Cyclops in X-Men.
James Marsden.
He's in it, and he's really good in it too. Yeah, you haven't seen Westworld, have you?
I've started it, but I never finished it. Like I watched the first couple episodes, and then I don't know. It's just it's not that I hated it. It's just something happened, and I never got back to it.
You should.
But I probably should. Yeah.
You should while you still have HBO Max. You should definitely watch it.
I probably will.
Okay. What else have you been watching?
I'll quickly talk about 2 animes just to get that finished. All right. First, Snow White and with the red hair. It's
okay.
a shoujo. Kind of romance, but not like too romance,
Right. I get this confused with Yuna of the Dawn, because like her character was red haired, and she kind of looks
I can see that. Yeah.
She kind of looks like this character.
Yeah, like in this whole anime, like the two end up falling in love with each other. Spoilers, they kiss like a total of maybe a couple times. So it's not like big heavy romance, It's very like they're very shy and timid with each other for a while, and kind of the embarrassed about their feelings type. But the main character, she has red hair, and red hair is like a crazy, not a common thing. And she's got like bright red hair too.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like an herbalist, really good with making medicines out of plants and stuff like that. And her like the prince of her kingdom decides, okay, I want you to be mine. Like, I want you to be my was it concubine? Is that
that's a word? Yeah.
Is that the term for like you're my you're my
we're not married, but I will still fuck you. Yep.
Yeah. You'll be my concubine. And So, because you have this your exotic, look to you, you have this red hair that's, and people react about the red hair in various different ways. Like, some people think she's a freak because of it. Some people think she's, like this exotic beauty because of it and stuff like that. But the prince is like this, the like scum of the earth type, character. And she ends up like, she gets a notice about how she has to meet with him the next day because he wants her to be his concubine and all this and that. And so she's like, fuck that. I'm dipping out. And she like cuts off her hair to where it's short, like in the image you have. And she leaves it with like the note or whatever for the prince, whatever, as like a message. Like, if you want me just for my hair, here's my hair type of thing, which is like kind of a badass move. Like, I'm not going to lie, I respect it. And she ends up fleeing the kingdom, and she ends up coming across another prince, weirdly enough, from a different kingdom. And she starts to build a relationship with him, like friendship at first, and then it slowly turns into more. But like I said, it doesn't, like, it's very wholesome. It never gets like, graphic or intense or anything like that. It's definitely like a romantic fairy tale type thing. There's 2 seasons to it too. This is one that I've like always like kind of thought about watching, and I've heard really good things about it. Like, it's very well regarded as far as I've seen. And I don't want to say too much, but it was really good. I like to mix up these type of like wholesome slice of life / maybe romance animes that are like in between, like intense action filled, like, type of animes, just kind of like a palate cleanser type of thing.
I sent you a picture of Yuna, and like, that's what she looks like. And she cut off her hair because she was complimented by a prince that she didn't want to get with. So you can see why I was kind of confused about these 2 animes.
Yeah, I gotcha. And it's just another one of those where like she ends up influencing a lot of people positively. And she there's a point where she joins, like, or she takes the test to try to join the new kingdom she's living in, like their like herbalist, like, their herbalist department or whatever. And there's a point where like she's taking a test or whatever, and the prince comes to check, and the teacher's like, you're the prince, you could just say a word and she's in. And he's like, oh, she would never allow me to do that. She wants to earn this on her own. And it's one of, it's that type of character, where she doesn't want anything. She may know the prince and she could easily get, stuff benefits, but she wants to, make things for herself on her own merits. So yeah, it's a good one. I enjoyed it. The next one,
I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, and there's 2 seasons too. So that's always nice when you find a good anime and there's at least 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And there could be more. They left it open for possibly more.
I want you to buy the light novels.
Yeah. The next one is called Showman Sample, and this is an interesting one. The main character is a teenager, and he gets kidnapped, and and he is forced pretty much to join this all-girls school that is like the most privileged school you could think of. Like these these girls, like, they have no idea what the real world's like. And that's kind of the point of him joining, is to try to introduce them, because they make a point of saying, when these girls, like, they live such a privileged life, when they graduate and they try to go into the real world, they can't cope, because they don't, they don't know how to deal with stuff. And it's things like they've never been to a fast food restaurant in their entire lives. Like, stuff like they just don't know how the common people live. And they're just baffled but whenever he introduces things to them, they're just like either baffled by it, or they're just like was it, I think, ramen. He introduces ramen to them, and they're just freaking out, and they're thinking, like, they get like the finest crystal ware, because they're so privileged. He's sharing this ramen with them, and they have like 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 a thing, just a regular thing of ramen split up between like 20 people. And like I said, they have it in like these fine crystal dishes, and it's just the most bizarre, ridiculous thing. I mean, it's a comedy above all else. I mean, and there's different characters he interacts with. There's one who's very like, she doesn't have friends, and she makes him create this commoners club, because everyone's so infatuated by the commoners, and she wants to learn stuff so she can impress the people in order to, become friends with them ultimately. There's another character who's like, she's like this genius. Oh yeah, this is an interesting one. And there's also,
I came across that image. I'm like, the fuck.
The one of the running jokes is, it's kind of a Three's Company thing. If you're familiar with the show Three's Company,
of course,
where they feel the people who brought him there, they think he's interested in men, because they're like, we've observed you, and you only ever hang out with men, you ever hang out with women. And because he's like, a teenage boy, and he's shy or whatever and stuff, like, but and they're like, he's like, oh, that's not true. And they're like, is that's not the case. About about us, and now we have to either abandon or strand you in this weird area, or we have to neuter you. And then he's like, I love muscles, I love muscly men. And that's kind of a theme, where every time, like, the people in charge or whatever think he's like, are you interested in women? And he's like, no, muscle man, I love muscles. And it's very weird and very bizarre. And yeah, Stuart showed a typical like image of, oh, I fell into her boobs.
Face full of boobs. Yeah. And I've seen a lot.
Nothing unusual with that. It's anime.
I've also seen a lot of panty shots too.
But yeah, was it the scene? The first scene you showed was like, yeah, they were worried he was gonna leave, and they were all trying to be muscular or manly in their own way, because they think he likes men, or I don't know. It's very confusing. Like, they think he likes men, but they also knows he doesn't, and it's very weird who, like, to tell who's in the ruse and who's not, But as far as like the head of the like school goes, they think he likes men, for the most part, because that's the whole reason why they brought him, because that, and he's the most common average, like, that you can be, as far as skills and test scores and everything. He's just your most common average person. So it's just hilarious to see like him introduce the most common basic things to these rich, very privileged people who have, like I was saying, they were eating ramen out of crystalware, like fine crystal dishes. It's just a crazy scene to see. But I don't know if this is going to have another season or not. This one, I think this is a fairly new one. I think this wrapped up not too long ago. But yeah, that ends my anime. And
looks like 2015.
For the dubbed?
Well, that's when the anime was 2015.
Oh. I thought I saw Funimation, like this was under their like new stuff or whatever. I could be wrong. I could be thinking of something else. And if that's the case, then that probably won't be a season 2. But, you know, it's just one of those goofy animes to watch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nothing to take serious, but, you know, I found myself laughing. Like I was saying, the eating the ramen from crystalware, it was just so outrageous. That scene was just, I'm not doing justice. I was laughing at that scene because it's goofy. Like, it's ramen, like something we take for granted, you know, like it's simple, like nothing special, like, you know, you buy it for 15 cents a pack at the store, like.
Well, to be honest though, I mean, ramen over there is different. Ramen and instant ramen are different things.
Yeah, I mean, it was specifically, this was like cup of noodle, like the cup of noodle ramen, you know. So it was like you pour the water in the cup type ramen. That's what this version was, if I remember correctly. So it's pretty much the same as our ramen, you know.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's it for me. The last things I got out of the big thing, you know, it ties to the big thing. So
okay,
you got anything else before that?
Nope, that's it.
Okay.
Well, you went and watched and did what I did a couple weeks ago, and watched all of the Godzilla and Kong things to lead up to Godzilla versus Kong. So I want to get your thoughts on these movies before we get into Godzilla versus Kong.
These movies suffer from the same thing Transformers suffers from.
No, I'll tell you why they don't. One, they don't because the big action, like the big things fighting the big things, look good. You can tell who's fighting what. You can tell what.
I mean, as far as the human characters suck.
Human characters? You don't watch this for human characters. You watch this for giant monsters fighting giant monsters. That's why you watch this.
So much.
If you go into this movies. If you go into this like, I want a good story, you fucked up.
Of course. But I'm saying there's too much human stuff in this, like that doesn't make sense. Like the writing for these movies are just not good. Like,
no, they're not. These are not storytelling masterpieces.
And the crazy thing is, my favorite parts of these is the Kong stuff. I like Kong in these movies more than Godzilla, which I never would have thought would be the case. Because they just don't do much with Godzilla. They gave
Kong a personality. They really didn't do much with Godzilla.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They didn't do much with him.
Godzilla mainly just showed up to kick ass. Kong actually had I'm going to, drink some water and then, being attacked by an octopus, but then eat the octopus. Kong actually had, you can actually tell like how Kong lived. Godzilla, you could never really tell Godzilla lived because he just showed up when, the story wanted him to show up.
Yeah, I really liked Kong Skull Island. I mean, out of all of these, I did prefer Kong Skull Island. I think
Did you catch how much CCR was in Kong Skull Island?
No.
Clearwater Revival.
Oh yeah. It had the original. Yeah,
it had like four fucking songs. Like, good lord.
I mean, it had all the typical like.
Yeah, it had
military songs.
It had Vietnam songs. It had Vietnam songs. But I'm like,
no, but here's Black Sabbath, and here's
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I like CCR, but I mean, still, I was like, another one. Okay.
With Kong Skull Island, and it's also a thing these movies all have in common. There's too many human characters that they cover.
Well, with Kong though, that gets rid of,
Yeah,
eventually.
they do get rid of them. But
I mean, you got to have people to die.
Yeah, and it was just like crazy. Like, oh, here's Samuel L. Jackson. When they get split up, it's like here's him and the guys, his soldiers with him, and then there's the when that was like, okay, here's squad A, B, C, and D and E.
Like, okay, who's with who? I don't remember. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, oh, here's Chapman. Oh, they make a point. Oh, he has a son back at home and all this and that, and then they end up killing him.
That's
and I'm
like,
oh God, oh my God, like wow, like some of these murders are like gruesome.
They're rough. Yeah.
Now, am I wrong, or did Samuel L. Jackson? Was it Jurassic Park that he said, like, hold on to your butts?
Yep.
He says that in this too.
Yep.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, he said it. It's been a while since I've seen the original Jurassic Parks. So I thought that's where it was from. But yeah, he says that. And then when he gets killed, he's saying like, and he gets killed. So there's Samuel L. Jackson in this movie.
Yes. Even though he was kind of playing a villain-ish.
He was, and it was like very weird. Like his motivations were bizarre.
Well, I mean, he was a soldier that, it was the end of Vietnam. He didn't want to go home. He wanted to keep fighting.
Yeah.
And this gave him a reason to fight. That was really his motivation. Was this gave him something to fight. And God damn it, he was going to win this time.
Yeah, I feel like the fighting, the Kong fighting things it just looks so much better than some of the Godzilla stuff, especially in that first Godzilla movie.
Well, also Kong was smaller too, so it was easier to, Kong was smaller, so there was like, we're
like him fighting the skull crawlers, and even that octopus was, just it looked really good.
Well, also, Kong uses weapons, like when he grabbed that anchor, like that was fucking badass.
Get over here.
Yeah.
I think I actually said that out loud when that happened. That yeah. It was enjoyable. Like John C. Reilly was amazing in this. I loved every minute he was in this. He was great, and
yes.
When he was explaining the skull crawlers, and he's like, that's the first time I've ever said that name out loud. I'm trying to scare you, by the way.
Yes, John C. Reilly was great, absolutely great in the movie.
He's fantastic. Yeah. See, in the beginning, I was like, when it was like the two soldiers fighting on Skull Island, and then I was like, and then it's like jumps to like the 70s or whatever. And I'm like, okay, what was that whole first part about? I guess and then it pays off with the John C. Reilly, which is great. Yeah. And then that's where they introduced the Hollow Earth that was in Kong Skull Island.
Yes. Yes. Because that was John Goodman's whole thing was, the Hollow Earth.
Well, that was the other character, right?
He wrote a book. Yeah, but it was John Goodman who was all about the Hollow Earth theory.
Yeah, which his death was just like came out of nowhere too.
Yeah,
there was a lot of like crazy deaths that just like like a Final Destination type deaths where you're just like, oh, okay, like that one soldier who like just got skewed by the spider leg.
Yeah, that one sticks in my mind. That one's horrifying.
Yeah. Like at first it looks like bamboo, like one of those bamboo shoots or whatever in the forest. And you're like, oh, did Godzilla chuck or not Godzilla, did Kong chuck like a bamboo thing or throw something and then it's like, oh no, that's a spider leg. Oh, good Lord.
Oh, nope. Gonna nope out of that.
Yeah. Right. Apparently was it when they John C. Reilly talks about the ants or the ants, the giant ants that, you hear that? That sounds like a bird. No, that's an ant. Like that was improv. And that he was trying to say stuff, just like say crazy stuff on certain takes just to make people laugh. And the director kept that in.
Sure.
Which is, it's great. Like, man, he was like the best part as far as all the humans go in that movie.
Well, he was like comic relief that you don't really get in these movies.
He was comic relief, but yet you could see like he wasn't just comic relief. Yeah, because you saw he was part crazy.
Yes,
because he was like there for almost 30 years. Like,
yeah.
It was great acting by him. I really liked the range of his acting in this. Because for the most part, like I've only ever seen him do just straight up comedy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he was really great in that. And like I said, like they did a lot of good with Kong, and having us sympathize and empathize all that with him and giving him a personality, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And how he is, he's the protector of that island, and how he's the last, his family got killed by the skull crawlers. And yeah, so I enjoyed that. I think out of the just standalone Godzilla and Kong movies, I think the Kong Skull Island I enjoyed the most. Versus the monsters, that was just a mess.
King of the Monsters, yeah.
That was just a hot mess. Like, as far as like the writing and switching between all kinds of characters and their motivations.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of like if you go into King of the Monsters for story, you fucked up.
And it was just so long too. Like they could have cut a lot of the human stuff out, because it was like it was over 2 hours. It was like 2 hours and 20 minutes, I think, right? Something like that. I want to say.
Runtime 2 hours 12 minutes.
12. Okay, yeah. So it was, which is crazy because Godzilla versus Kong is the shortest of all these movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, King of the Monsters was rough. I found myself on my phone a lot during this movie.
Yeah, King of the Monsters. Yeah, I definitely have the issues with the human side of King of the Monsters. Like why that one chick teamed up with Apex is beyond fucking me. Like, I don't know what her, like, even though she says what her motivation was behind it, I still call bullshit.
And God, it was the most like just overused trope for these type of we are the virus and they are the fever to crush out and save this world. Like, oh my God.
But
like,
oh no, I didn't mean to kill people. The fuck? What the hell?
It's like, oh, but my daughter's in trouble now. So like, what? Huh? Like, no, you whatever. Like, you didn't think that your daughter would be in danger at all? Like,
No,
unleashing all these monsters.
But we're safe because we're like 10 feet underground.
And like that whole device, the orca thing or whatever, it was so dumb. Especially how they used it. Like, they tried to make it so sci-fi techy, and it just seemed ridiculous. Like,
yeah, like Godzilla, it was based in like real tech. King of the Monsters, they start going sci-fi. And then in Godzilla vs. Kong, they went over the fucking edge with God. They went over the fucking edge with sci-fi.
Oh my God. Yeah. But oh God, and what was it? Ice Cube Jr. I just could not stand him. He was the officer who like, or the officer dude who like the thing if you were my parents, blah blah blah, I would run away too.
Oh,
that's Ice Cube's son.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Like, I don't know. It just, his character just felt unnecessary in the whole thing. You know, like he would just have these random one-liners. It felt like.
Yeah.
There were too many humans in this. Like,
yeah, that one definitely had too many people.
And then, was it, didn't like one character from the first movie die in this, and like they don't even like mention it? Like, the most they, or no, was that in Kong versus Godzilla? I think it was Kong versus Godzilla, actually. Hold on, I'll get to that later then. Yeah. But yeah, it's, I don't know, like this, like I said, I felt myself just
Shirazawa died in King of the Monsters because he took the nuke to Godzilla.
No, I'm talking about like, so there was a oh wait, no, yeah, this was the one where there was a female who died like out of nowhere, and he has like her like bio page up on a screen because he's like, I guess, mourning her or whatever, and that's like it. They just leave it at that. And I think she was from like the first movie or whatever, and they don't really explain anything. They don't explain too much about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I remember seeing her die, and I'm like, wait, which character was that?
Well, you're not talking about one of the twins, right?
I don't
because there were twins in this.
Yeah.
Which,
no, there was. I don't think it was one of the twins. I think it was, which, this is the twins is a reference to like the old school Godzilla stuff.
Well, Mothra in particular, like that, and I did like that. When she said that, my mother was a twin and my grandmother was a twin, it showed a picture, and those were the twins from the original Godzilla versus Mothra.
Yeah. Was it? I can't remember which. It wasn't her. Was it? I don't know. I can't remember which one, but there was
I mean,
one
there
who
weren't
like she just
many
died.
characters that were in the first one that were in the second Godzilla movie.
Yeah. Was it her? Yeah, I think it was Sally Hawkins' character, Dr. Vivian Graham, maybe? Is that who I'm thinking of?
I'm looking up.
Because I watched kind of funny. They went through the stuff and they had a review of it, and they mentioned this, and I'm like, yeah, I do remember that one character dying, and I'm like, wasn't she kind of like a main character and she just died out of nowhere, and then like they don't even mention her. I remember being confused at that point, and then they brought it up, and I'm like, okay, so it wasn't just me.
See, I didn't pay close attention to human shit. Like you paid way more attention to people than you were supposed to.
I mean, it was just the thing of I got confused which character was which, and then they made a huge point to show this one character died, and I'm like, oh, and then like a scene or two later, they have Ken Watanabe, his character, like looking at her bio page on a computer screen, and that's like the only reference that, oh yeah, she was the character. She was a sort of main character. Like I said, there's like 20 characters in this movie that are like quote main or almost kind of main character. It's a lot. And then they had you had Thomas Middleditch, who you think he'd be the comic relief. He really wasn't.
No, he wasn't. It was Bradley Whitford. He was more of the comic relief.
Oh God, he had one of the lines I was just like, oh, really? when the dad, husband, whatever, he's like, oh my God, and then the other guy goes, Zilla. I was like, funny. Did you really do that?
That's funny though.
Like,
that's funny.
Oh my God. I scoffed at that. I'm like, oh, really? Okay. That fits with this movie. But yeah, this movie was a mess. Like some of the fight stuff, the action stuff was cool, but there was a lot of not fight scenes in this movie.
Yeah.
And a lot of fake science that did not make any sense.
Yeah. And what I loved was, when Godzilla and Ghidorah sent out like a call to like all the monsters to come gather and all that kind of stuff, and Kong didn't show up. I love the reason why the writer said that he didn't show up. He basically just said fuck off to them and said, no, I'm not going.
Was he trapped? You think like going?
Well, no, he
actually
what he actually did was he actually stopped like skull crawlers from going. He actually kept the monsters on that island.
That's cool. Yeah. But yeah. Oh, and the three of them. Oh, we got to fix this device that's broken in the rain, pouring down rain. Like really? Like that was a real like.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, sure. This complex futuristic device that's broken and it's pouring down rain, and you're able to fix it and like. Oh, but then again, screw this screw.
How fucking cool was it when Godzilla went Super Saiyan? I mean, you can't deny that was a fucking cool scene.
I mean, you spoiled that for me.
True. True, but still, like, you watch it again, like, that's a fucking cool scene.
Yeah. It was cool, yeah. It was disgusting, the scene with the head. Godzilla, like, I don't know, he had one of the heads in his mouth, and he was like, oh my God. That in the regeneration scene of the head was really disgusting. Oh my God. That grossed me out. That looked all kinds of nasty.
Yeah, it's.
And then was it the Mothra versus Rodan?
Rodan.
Rodan?
Yeah.
Rodan? Yeah. That was kind of cool.
Yes, that was cool.
But yeah, now I guess like Godzilla versus Kong, we can talk about that.
Yeah. And like I said, you go into this movie for story, you fucked up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But honestly, there was a lot more action. There was a lot more giant monsters fighting in this one.
Yeah. It's a shame because we were talking about the chick who's like a twin in the thing. They filmed her, but they didn't put her in this. Like she actually was filmed. Like there's stuff with her filmed for this movie, and then they decided not to use it. And I liked her. I did like her.
Yeah,
she was one of the characters I kind of liked.
But
especially because the whole Mothra connection, that was kind of cool. I learned about that.
Right. And to be honest, like the characters that were in this, that were also in King of the Monsters, could have not been in this movie, and nothing would have fucking changed.
Oh yes, yeah.
And people on the internet are pissed about that. Like, why are you dragging Bobby Millie Brown into your movie? She didn't need to be in this movie. Why are you mad? I don't understand why you're mad.
Like her character just seemed ridiculous. Like
yes,
she's supposed. Is she smart? Because she was able to control that device in the previous movie. She knew how that worked and all that. So obviously she's smart, but she's acting like she isn't that smart, and she's just a headstrong, jump into things without thinking things through. Like her character seemed, and she's a good actress.
Yes,
or actor, whatever. Because I really like her in that Enola Holmes movie.
Yeah, and she's amazing in Stranger Things. I mean, she's good.
I have yet to see that, yeah, but yeah, I did like her in that. But yeah, like seeing her in was it Fire Fist or what was his name in Deadpool? Like,
oh yeah.
They call him Tapwater.
Halfway through the movie, I'm like, where have I seen that guy before?
Oh no, it was instant. I'm like, oh, that's fire. That's the kid from Deadpool too.
It took me to halfway through the movie.
Something Fist. Yeah.
To realize, like, oh, that's that dude. That's the kid from Deadpool 2.
AKA Tapwater in this.
I'm looking up to see.
I thought that was
if they give his name on IMDb.
For what?
For what his character in Deadpool 2 was.
Oh, I think it was like Fire Fist or.
It doesn't. Yeah. Okay. Yes, it does. Fire Fist.
Yeah. And boy, his character was like way different, like the personality wise, anyways.
Yeah. Also, much longer hair, and that's what threw me was the really long hair. Like, I don't think he had a haircut since Deadpool 2.
It's a pandemic. Most people haven't had haircuts. No.
I don't know what you mean.
I, for one, am lucky because I keep my hair short because I don't want to have to mess with hair. So I can just do it myself.
Mm.
But yeah, this movie goes with as far as the technology and stuff. I'm like, really? You have technology like this, but this is the solutions, or this is like what? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, that
like they literally had Elon Musk's like his
tunnel. That's exactly
like,
that's exactly what I thought. Like, that's the boring tunnel. Like, what the hell? Like, that's exactly what I thought from like
yeah,
like San Francisco to Hong Kong was a tunnel. Yep.
Yeah, I was just like, oh wow, that's interesting. And then you had like, you go, then when you see level 30 or sub level 33, it's like, oh, this is like Tron. Okay, this is like crazy futuristic. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And
I I will say also some of the stuff they did to the buildings towards the end in China kind of, or Hong Kong, didn't make a lot of sense. Like some buildings crumbled like easily, and then some Kong was able to like
walk on and jump off of. Yeah.
Yeah, he literally did the action move where you jump off the wall to punch.
Yep.
Like, I saw that and I'm like, did you seriously? Wow. Okay. That's interesting. And the building was like fine.
Yeah.
But yet other buildings like crumble like from the slight. And I'm like, I don't know if that would work that way. But yeah, there's some the craziness in this movie. But the fighting was definitely, I think, the best
was
of all these
not
movies.
Impressed with Mega Godzilla.
Oh, Mecha Godzilla. Yeah.
I was not impressed with how it looked. Just because I kind of appreciate the design of the original, and like because the original is just like it's all just like. And honestly, I thought like that's where they were going to go with this story, because we kind of, it was kind of leaked that this was going to feature Mecha Godzilla.
Oh, it was totally leaked. I've known for a while.
I figured it was going to be somewhat retelling of the original, where when Mecha Godzilla first shows up, he actually looks straight up like Godzilla, and everybody thinks he's Godzilla. And he starts attacking Tokyo and all that kind of stuff. And people are like, why are you attacking Tokyo, Godzilla? Because I feel like it, bruh. But no, that wasn't the case at all. So I kind of wish they would have gone in that direction. Because my theory was like they were like Apex built Mecha Godzilla and then attacked themselves, to limit the casualties possible, and then go, Godzilla's bad, we need to kill him, to get kind of the world behind him, to then build a Titan killer.
And the whole explanation behind what happened with what Mecha Godzilla ultimately ended up being was very sloppy. Like, oh, here's the head of King, was it Ghidorah or whatever?
Yeah, and
he's psychic, and he can, or he's telepathic, and all this and that, and we turned his brain into a supercomputer, and all that. And I'm just like, oh my god, you don't have to give us a more simple explanation, please. Like, this is your job, is to write the story out, make it more simple, please. Like,
well, we kind of knew, like the after credits King of the Monsters, we knew that, oh, they're going to use this to make Godzilla. We knew that ahead of time, but we kind of figured they would build the robot around the skull, not have.
I thought they were gonna
not have
do DNA cloning or something like that, and
Ken Watanabe's son control it. Also,
which they don't even reference. Like
they barely reference that character was supposed to be his son. Like it was unless you knew the name, you didn't know.
Yeah, that was weird as well. Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, while watching this movie, I just was just going, monkey fight lizard, yay! And that's all I wanted.
Oh God. And the Hollow Earth stuff. Oh my God, I hated. I do not like Hollow Earth. Like
I wish we would have saw more classic monsters down there.
Yeah, if we're gonna do that.
I was hoping we would have saw some classic monsters down there, but we sure didn't.
Yeah, I don't know. Just something about the concept of Hollow Earth. I just don't like. Like, maybe because it doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, it made perfect sense. I mean, Kong jumped up and then flipped, and then he was upside down.
But if the Earth was hollow, then the Earth we know would not be the Earth we know, because that's how physics works.
Also,
and it's why was it looks sunny? Like there's a sky.
Oh, why was it sunny down there?
Yeah, and it looked like there was a sky in Hollow Earth. What?
And oh wait, didn't they say in the first movie that the monsters feed off the radiation from the center of the Earth? Yet people were just walking down there willy nilly and not dying.
And didn't they say that you could get the Hollow Earth from Skull Island and Kong Skull Island?
Yes. So why did they need to go to Antarctica?
So why'd they have to? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of my biggest questions. Only watching Skull Island 2 days previous. I was wait, what?
They did reference the original Kong versus Godzilla with the helicopters.
Their ancestors.
With the helicopters flying Kong. In the original Kong versus Godzilla, they used hot air balloons.
Okay.
Which because Kong was just dude in suit, it was just straight up balloons, which looks fucking funny. So, but that I did kind of that's a nice reference. I get that reference.
And the perspective seemed to change so much. Because in this scene, it looks like Godzilla and King Kong kind of look on par, same size, but yet this scene with Godzilla, he looks way bigger, than he did previously. And it just I don't know. It just felt like I don't know. It felt like Godzilla looked way bigger in certain scenes than he did when he was next to Kong.
Yeah. And yeah. I mean,
going back to Hollow Earth, there's a computer in Hollow Earth that the Kong puts the axe in, or what?
No, it's magic.
Who built that structure?
Kong's. Kong's did. I'm kind of being serious. Kong's built that.
I know that's what they're but it's another thing where I was just oh man, y'all are trying too much with this. You could just be more simple with the explanations and stories and stuff. Oh my God. Yeah. That's
yeah.
That's balloons.
That's balloons.
It's balloons carrying a monkey. Yeah.
And yes, we know Kong is an ape, but we
yeah,
it's fun to call him a monkey.
It's for the comedy aspect.
Yes.
We're making fun of it. That's why we're saying, yeah. But yeah, the technology they had, like I can't get over like all the crazy technology they had, but yet like, where was this technology previously?
Right.
Like,
well, evil Elon Musk hadn't built it yet.
In like the span of a few years.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
And it's like, if we have all this technology, then why do we have to go through this major like purge to have all these titans?
How did a terrorist group that released King Ghidorah all of a sudden become massively wealthy and have like, you know, all of God's money?
Because Apex wasn't a company, like a huge company in the previous movies, right?
No,
like,
they were a terrorist group.
Yeah.
And now they have bases everywhere in the world, just like Monarch.
Yeah. So it's just, man, yeah. This is definitely this is definitely a movie you can like be on your phone in between the monster fights.
Yeah, like, you know, it's, you know, the Monsterverse and Pacific Rim. If you go into those for the story, you fucked up.
I am glad I didn't pay to watch this in theaters.
My sister has been wanting to go to the theaters for months now. And she's like, "Is this good enough to go to the movies?" I'm like, "No." No. The next movie I think we can go to the movies for is in July. So, because like, you know, like I do this too. I love going to the movies. I love that whole experience.
Nothing better. Yeah.
But, you know, there's not
especially in the summer, a nice cool movie theater.
There's not been anything to really worth going to now.
Until Black Widow. That's going to be the one.
That's July.
I'm so sad that we have to wait that long, you know? Because then again, it's also going to be on Disney Plus too. So
for $30. So
yeah.
I would rather,
which is great if you have a group who can chip in and you can watch it as a group. That's great. But yeah, for you and me, you know.
Well, I'll probably go with, you know, at least my sister and maybe my mom. So that's $30 right there. So I would rather go to the movies to experience it than
go to movies, get a big soda and
popcorn,
a snack. I like getting the nachos.
Movie theater popcorn, like nothing beats it. I mean, yeah, they sell movie theater buttered popcorn, but it's not the same.
I'm not a huge regular popcorn fan.
I like popcorn. I hate that I find kernels in it in my teeth the next day, but
yeah,
even after I've brushed and flossed,
that's my thing.
That's amazing how that happens. So
yeah, but yeah, this is a movie I'm glad I was able to watch at home and not have to because I would kind of be disappointed if I saw this in theaters and paid the prices and did the whole thing, because going to the theaters is a treat. Like that's a treat. Go, you know, because when I go, I don't just go and that's it. You know, I'll go and I'll get the big drink and the nachos or the candy or whatever I'm feeling that day.
Right.
And I'll make it a thing, make it an event. So kind of. So is this the end of the universe? Like this?
Maybe. I mean, there was nothing at the end.
Yeah, I looked.
So, but they said that they did that because they didn't want to pigeonhole themselves into a story. So,
like they care about story.
they say they do, but we sure don't. As
and also,
as viewers, we don't give a fuck.
Alexander Skarsgård, why couldn't his character just have been the dad from the previous one? That would have. Why couldn't you have just ported that role into that? Like, because having him as a new character really didn't do much at all. Like,
no.
So.
But I mean, but honestly, like
a lot of human characters.
You could have left out any of the characters from the previous movie, and nothing would have fucking changed.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, so like having a whole new cast makes more sense than, you know. Yeah, maybe having you know Monarch there, but maybe have Monarch do something. Because they didn't even have
they didn't even have the big bad from the previous movie.
No, you're right. You're right. That was
what's his name? Tywin Lannister.
Yes, like I've been trying to IMDb his name. Like I don't remember his fucking name, and why am I not seeing him on IMDb?
Didn't even have him, which he's oozes bad guy. Like
yeah, like and
I didn't like the bad guy on this movie. Like he was just like, oh, I'm the suave rich guy and blah blah blah, and it's just like, okay, you're just. And then
Mecha Godzilla backhands him.
Yeah, no. When he was giving his like little monologue, I'm like, this is really bad acting. Like, it's you could tell he knew this was just lines he was saying until he got killed.
Yeah,
like he wasn't even trying. Like.
Yeah, and one dude saying, "Oh, but I wanted to hear his speech." That's not a time to make a fucking joke. I mean, you have yet to, you know, ground yourself as a comedy character like that to make that joke.
Oh, and what is it? Fire Fist. I'm gonna hack the satellites and this and oh, I can't do it. Oh, let me pour the whiskey in the vents.
You're a hacker. I took HTML in camp. Like, what made you think you could fucking hack anything?
If it's satellite controlled, then how is destroying that console gonna, like, I don't know. It
doesn't.
Right? Like, I think the best part of this was seeing Kong just destroy Mecha Godzilla with the axe. Like that was the best part, the best looking thing I think of the whole movie.
And then
looks so awesome.
And then Godzilla basically giving him that Woodman nod just to. Mm-hmm.
Oh God, was it kind of funny when they were talking about this, they were the scene where Godzilla's like standing on Kong's chest, and they were like, man, if this wasn't a replication, or if this wasn't replicating Batman v Superman, I was expecting them to say, Mothra, save Mothra.
Why'd you say that name?
Oh, it was so good. But yeah, it's just, man, these movies though, like I didn't expect much, but just fighting and action, and that's all the only good parts of these movies.
You got that, yeah. And that's what you go to these movies for.
But like I was, when I was comparing them to the Transformers, I meant the human stuff is the most uninteresting part.
Yes.
Like that's just the case. And
Charles
I think that's
Dance,
just the
that's
case.
his name. Charles
Yeah,
Dance.
I think that's just the case with these type of movies. Like, you know, I don't know if you can ever have a extremely good movie like these, because the human stuff's just is never going to be good.
Right. Well, the humans are never like the stars of the movie. They're not.
Yeah, and you can't have like, you know, like Godzilla and Kong, you can only have them on for so long because of the budget.
Because of budget.
You know? Yeah. So,
Unless you want to go dudes in suits.
because what was it like I can't remember, but like the kind of funny, when they did the review on each of the stuff, they like broke down like facts and stuff, like, oh, Godzilla was only featured 14 minutes in this particular movie total, and it's like, wow, like over 2 hours and only that's wow, yeah. So that means the rest was all human stuff, and when the human stuff is not good, like.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do enjoy these movies. I really do. But I don't watch them.
I know you do.
I don't watch them for story. I never have. And the old ones I watched for the camp.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, that's the stuff.
I wanted
as far as the old ones goes,
you know, Godzilla do a 10,000 foot tail slide on his tail to kick a monster. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, and then the old ones, that's part of the charm. Like that's the whole point of those movies were that they were like not AAA movie, you know, blockbuster movies. They were like campy B movies, you know.
You wanna see a Godzilla movie that actually has a good human side? Shin Godzilla. More people need to watch Shin Godzilla. Because that actually has an interesting and believable human story.
Yeah. I'll leave it at this. The biggest problem I have with the human stuff is the fact that they try to overcomplicate things to show off, hey, we're really smart. Look at all this explanation on these things. And it's like, no, you don't have to like do all this just to show that the Mecha Godzilla is now like
we're gonna take
controlled by.
We're gonna take a sample of an Earth and then email it to another person. Because
that's gonna work. I forgot about that. Yeah. Oh, and we can mass reproduce. If you had that technology to like just reproduce something just from knowing what it is, then why Godzilla versus the monsters exist at all? Like, or King of the Monsters, yeah. Why'd that exist at all? Like, it just, yeah. Yeah, the science in Godzilla versus Kong is the most egregious, like, of all the others.
Yes.
So
yep. In the next Godzilla movie, I expect them to fight Godzilla with lasers. Yes. With lasers and spaceships. That's how the next movie should be. Lasers, spaceships, and hyperdrives.
Like, why can't just Pacific Rim versus Godzilla?
I mean, that technically was supposed to be Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah,
with a mix of robot jocks. Remember robot jocks?
Yeah. That's all I got though, as far as talking about it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just starting to repeat myself on how awful the awful parts of this movie were. But the fight stuff definitely was the best. Like,
yeah. Oh,
I did.
I watched.
What?
I completely just thought of something better that we both watched.
Oh, what?
Falcon and Super Soldier and Winter Soldier.
Oh, Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
It was good. I guess
the ending of the last episode was like, that was awesome. That's awesome. That last shot.
That visual,
was
yeah.
awesome.
Oh my god.
Like that was oh god.
The blood on the shield.
Yeah.
I'm liking Captain America or Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Well,
but oh, go ahead.
Well, there are people who are saying, "Oh, this is not as good." I mean, this is not as good as WandaVision. Or like people aren't as talking about it as much as WandaVision. I think that's because we knew what Falcon and the Winter Soldier was going to be going into it. WandaVision, we had no fucking clue what that was going to be. So, I mean, there was more to talk about with Falcon and Winter Soldier. We knew, this was going to be terrorist action.
And I kind of said, like, I kind of said after WandaVision, I'm like, people are not going to like this as much because this is supposed to come out first before WandaVision, and WandaVision did the crazy stuff, and they took a chance on some of the, some of the things they did to change the MCU as we know it. And this is just going to be more of what we know.
Also, some major story chunks were edited out of Falcon and Winter Soldier because of a storyline that had to do with a virus.
Oh, okay.
Like how
that kind of sucks.
How that I forget what her Mama Donna or whatever her name was.
Oh God!
Yeah. How she was supposed to die was because of this pandemic virus, and it was edited around to where she died of tuberculosis.
Okay.
And that's why some scenes with the Flag Smashers look kind of, the editing is weird because they're editing around what they're talking about. To do, like, they re-recorded lines, and they're, that's why you don't see people talking about things like that.
Gotcha. Okay. Quick question. Sharon, is she the power broker?
No.
Or is she just working for the power broker?
She might be working with the power broker, but she's not the power broker.
Okay. I'm seeing a lot of people think she is, and I'm like,
no.
I mean, they kind of dangle that carrot and make you think, but it just seems too obvious for her to be,
Yeah, she's not.
It would just seem too obvious. I'd love it for it to be a whole completely new character.
If that was the case, she would have been way more upset about Neagle dying.
Yeah. But
instead of like,
I don't know.
Well, you fucked up.
Yeah. I don't know. It's more of, it's more of, like you said, it's more predictable. We know for the most part what we're getting from this. They're not taking a lot of risky.
Supposedly
chances.
Next episode, we're getting a major cameo and a jaw-dropping moment. This was supposedly teased weeks ago, like when episode 1 came out. It said episode
Sebastian
5.
Stan, I think he teased some cliffhanger.
Has some amazing cameo, and it's jaw-dropping.
Okay, I'm excited for that. I mean, because the end of this episode was just, oh my God! Like, I thought he was going to decapitate the dude.
I did too.
It was even worse.
Well,
it was somehow even worse.
Honestly, here's the thing: we didn't see it.
No, we saw him like beating on his chest though, too. Like,
well, we just saw the dude's hand fall. We didn't see the rest of his body. We didn't see his face.
And
we didn't see where his head went.
It's interesting because this is a visual comparison to Steve Rogers' Captain America in Civil War, where he's fighting Iron Man and he has that moment and then he just takes out the power source, you know?
Yeah, there's been a lot of like really interesting comparisons to U.S. Agent and Captain America.
And I love when even Zemo, like, you know, like he's like, oh yeah, there's never been, it always corrupts or whatever. And they're like, it's not Steve Rogers. And Zemo's like, touche, but there has never been another Steve Rogers. I love how he even accepts that Steve Rogers is, you know, different. Like, and I love the whole concept of like, just because you have the shield doesn't mean, you know, just because you call yourself Captain America and carry the shield doesn't mean you're carrying the legacy. You know, you make the shield Steve Rogers made the shield the symbol, not, you know, the other way around.
Yeah.
Just having the shield doesn't make you Captain America. You have to.
Yeah. I'm just waiting on the line of him saying, do you know who I am? Yeah. Some guy playing dress up. Just waiting for that. I'm just waiting for that line.
Yeah. I would see when he said that to was it the one of the people like that was hiding, or the terrorist or something, when they remember that part?
Yes.
I think it was last episode.
Yeah. And I was
hoping the dude to be like a phoney or an imposter.
I was expecting, you know, some guy playing dress up.
Exactly.
That's the line I would have written.
And it's good too, because like they're making, he's not a bad guy, John Walker. No,
he just had a lot of pressure put on him that he was not ready to accept.
And he's just human, and you could see, you know, definitely he's struggling with, you know, trying to be good. And he's, you know, when he asks about his partner, was it Lamar?
He's trying so hard to be the hero. He's trying so hard.
Yeah, he's like, would you take this? Would you take it if you had it?
Everyone around him.
Yeah. See, I knew he took it like the moment I saw the shield in the concrete wall. I'm like, oh, he took it.
Oh, we knew he was going to take it.
But I knew the minute
Zemo started crushing those, I'm like, there's going to be one left, and Walker's going to find it.
And that was so great the way they made Zemo like, is he going to take it?
I honestly thought he was going to take it. I was like, he's not. Yeah, no, he's not going to take it.
And then he doesn't. And I'm like, okay, that's good. That's good. That's good writing right there. That's good writing. Like, coming from something like Godzilla with bad writing.
I'm trying to end on a high note if you want to.
Exactly. Yeah. Man, we only have 2 more episodes of this.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see where this goes, because there, you know, we've seen stuff in the trailer, like, you know, was it Falcon throwing the shield and stuff like that.
Right.
Or, you know, that hasn't come up yet, you know, and everyone's thinking this is going to end with Falcon being Captain America, but we only have 2 more episodes.
We have 2 more episodes. And like, honestly, that might have been a thing in the trailer that we don't actually see. Or
like Hulk at Wakanda fight.
That could also be, it's a flashback to before he gave the shield to the Smithsonian. He had it for a while, tried it, and then said no. That could easily be a flashback.
Yeah, it was funny to see like him in his Falcon suit, and it's like, oh yeah, you are the Falcon, because we haven't seen you in that suit in like a couple episodes.
Right.
It was just like all of a sudden he's wearing the suit, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's right. You're not okay. So yeah, I'm enjoying it, because it added, it is MCU being MCU, and I expected this to be more of like, the Winter Soldier type vibes, how that movie played out, the spy and secret and, all this and that. And, we're getting bits and pieces of how Civil War was too, with the whole super soldier serums and all this and that. And it's interesting.
Yeah.
I loved how was it the what's the Black Panther, like the group, the Wakandan group,
yeah. I know who you mean. I don't know. Starts with a Z.
Like they kicked ass.
Yeah, they did.
I love that, and that's what really tipped him over the edge, where he's like, yeah, they're not even super soldiers. It's like, yeah, they're not super soldiers, but they've been like training their whole entire lives in
right.
This
I feel like
society that's advanced technology and like,
right, like they're known to have like this advanced technology, but yet I feel like Walker treated them like they were still like third world.
Yeah, right.
Like he called them pointy sticks. I mean, seriously. Like,
yeah,
those could have been phaser cannons for all you know, dude.
Yeah, and I love how Bucky got disarmed, literally.
Literally.
It's like, did you know they could do that? No. And it's like, oh.
I mean,
it's like, it also goes to, I saw an article that was like, the headline was, Black Panther scene proves Black Panther never fully trusted Bucky.
I don't know about that.
I mean, if he put a thing, a way to, shut that off just in case, like, I guess, but then again, it's like, does he trust anybody? Does he fully trust anybody? That is.
There could have been many reasons why there was ways to take off that arm.
Yeah. But yeah, it's cool. I like it. And it's also a thing like Bucky fighting those other the goons with the super soldier serum. Like, he should be annihilating them, right? Because he's trained. He has the crazy vibranium arm,
right?
And he has the super soldier serum, so he should be taking them out no problem, right?
I mean, he kind of is. I mean, he's not having much issue.
He was struggling at first, like the first, like the especially that that car fight scene where they were fighting on top of the vehicles.
If he wanted to kill them, he would have no issues.
I guess that's true.
He's also trying not to kill them.
Back. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, and I don't know, and I can't. We're supposed to kind of sympathize with the flag smashers in a way. I'm having trouble. Like,
I agree with what Sam said. I agree with their message, not the way they're doing it.
Yeah, and I do like how, like, the start of the episode, we hear the reports how the countries are closing their borders because of the flag smashers.
Right, which is the opposite of what they wanted.
Opposite of what they wanted. I love that. That was great. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the scenes that looks weird edited, because it was probably more dealing with this with a virus. That's why you see Harley kind of jump in the edits.
Yeah. So, was it next time we do this, it'll be done with.
It'll be done.
Next movie and TV episode.
And then we have to wait a month for Loki.
Yeah. But we got was it that Bad Batch in between, right?
Is that what's in between?
Star Wars show? I think so, right?
Bad Batch, May 4th. So yeah, that's
Yeah. May 4th. Ha ha ha.
oh, I wonder why it was May 4th.
Yeah.
Another day.
It's because it's a Tuesday. That's why.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, the first episode is being released on May 4th. Second episode on May 7th.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, they have to.
You're right. You're right. They cannot not do that on May 4th. They cannot not do that on May 4th.
Like May 4th has just blown up to, and they've taken control of it. They've owned it, which is great.
As they should. As you know, they should.
Yeah. So, all right. This is for this episode. Last week's was a short episode. This week's is a super long episode.
Yep.
So that's just how it goes. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at the GeeksFTW. Stuart is at Casual Terror. I am at WillPlayGames_, and we will catch you next time.
And remember, no animals or hearts can make this podcast.